Hey, what's up, guys? This is Carson, and welcome back to another podcast episode. I'm super excited to be bringing you guys a new podcast episode, and I am super excited to be bringing you more in the future. Remember, if you enjoy these, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another podcast episode. Today we've got the composer Sigurd Jøhnk-Jensen. He is a composer who has worked on games like Killing Floor 2, Tempest Rising, and several other game projects, as well as doing stuff for various TV and film projects as well. And I think you guys will really enjoy this one. So thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on and wanting to do this podcast. I am a big fan of your work. I like some of the stuff you have on Killing Floor, the second one. Big fan of Tempest Rising. I know that also was nominated for Game of the... It was not for Game of the Year, but in the Game of the Year awards, it was nominated, and that was a big deal.
Yeah, that was really nice.
I was really happy to see that because I've been following your work on that for a little bit. I've known you for... We've talked on and off for a little bit, I feel like.
We've been in each other's DMs for a while.
But I was wondering how you started writing music. What made you want to compose music? Was it like a certain album you listened to? Was it like just some kind of experience? Or how did you kind of get into writing music for...
Man, that's such a great question. It's a long answer, so I'm going to try and make it short.
It's okay.
I think I started in music a bit like everyone else. I assume. I've started out playing in bands. Started first in school playing guitar with school bands and after school bands, and eventually moved on to playing in quote unquote real bands, I guess. And ended up actually touring Europe a lot with different kind of bands, metal bands, rock bands, pop stuff, and so on. But as a kid, my dream job was always, music for video games. I would turn my PlayStation on and just leave whatever game I was kind of focused on at the time, leave it on the menu, and just have those, 30 seconds of menu music looping. So I always wanted to do it, but, never connected the dots to how to actually get into that kind of industry. But along with, technology making a huge boom over the last couple of decades, and the internet making everything much easier for us not living in the right places. It kind of just transitioned from the normal band guy into actually jumping into the career as a composer, basically. Yeah, that's the short answer.
Did you so you were in bands and stuff. Did you ever was attending school for music ever something that you did, or did you go from band straight to kind of getting into writing music, or how did that work?
I also attended music school, not in a degree kind of way. But more something, like I paid some really, really, really good people to teach me a lot of stuff, and actually was gearing up to the whole, taking a music degree thing, but a combination of firstly some of the people and my friends that I knew that was going down that route actually ended up stopping their music degree because they were pretty much just educating teachers instead of like musicians, if that makes sense. And also right when I was ready to actually make the application to get a degree, one of the bands I was in started to play a lot and tour and stuff. So I figured, let's do this for a couple of years and we can always move back to this. And I never moved back to anything.
Everything's been working out really well. You've been doing everything's been so great. You've been doing some stuff with Audio Machine as well, I believe, right?
Oh yeah. Did a couple of albums with them so far. They're really great people.
Oh yeah. I was checking out you were talking about, I think was it Warcry, I believe? And you were You were talking
Yeah,
about that,
yeah.
and it was really cool. There's a moment in that video that you made where you're showing kind of all the stacked vocals, and it's just all you, and it sounds really, really cool. I thought that was sick.
I have to stack vocals because I have a kind of high pitch, normal talking voice. So I have to fake my way through it.
That's funny. It sounds really good. It sounds really good. I
Thanks,
was a big
thanks,
fan of
man.
that. Whenever you were, like for example, you said you were leaving stuff on loop. Were there any games specifically
Oh yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
grabbed
yeah.
your attention that were like the big reasons why you do what you do now?
Yeah, dude, my first real game love was Spyro the Dragon
Mm,
as a kid, and the stuff Stuart Copeland did there with that, he basically just wrote rock music, but with old shitty MIDI instruments,
yeah.
and I loved it. I still love it to this day. I can still listen to it for hours on end. So that game took a lot of playing hours in the menu. And then as I got a tiny bit older, it was stuff like, the stuff Frank Krakauer did for Command and Conquer, and uh, weirdly enough, also the Resident Evil stuff, which at that time was pretty much just ambient atonal stuff, which might have freaked my parents out a bit. I don't know. But kind of followed that up, and then eventually I actually started playing a lot of the games instead. And now my all-time favorite game music is basically everything within either World of Warcraft, Diablo, or StarCraft. That's
Mm,
it doesn't get much better than that in my
yeah.
world.
That's pretty cool. I BioShock is probably mine, I'd say. I think
Oh
BioShock
yes, that
is
is so good.
way up there. BioShock and
Yeah.
honestly, I was born in 2001, so I'm younger, so I didn't get to experience all like, the like early. Well, I mean, I did much later down the line, but like I didn't grow up with like early '90s games or anything
I
like
know.
that. But my first like I think my first introduction to like kind of the stuff, some of the stuff that you really like doing and I really like doing, kind of like the more rock kind of metally stuff, was Doom, and
Oh
2016
yeah.
was my first one.
Oh,
And man, that was
good old
crazy.
Mick.
Good old Mick Gordon.
Mick is basically the king of the game world at the moment, right?
Oh, so true.
That no matter what he touches, everything just becomes golden.
Oh yeah. Have you played what was it recently? Routine, that horror game that he did some. I don't think he did music for it, but he did some kind of audio work on it.
Yeah, I don't know if he did music or anything. It sounds a lot like him also doing music, but a lot of people can copy a lot of stuff, I guess.
True.
But yeah, that game was really good. Also, he did what's it called? Something with atomic.
Oh, Atomic Heart.
Yeah. That was, I really liked that. It freaked
Mhm.
me out because it was kind of horror in another weird sci-fi-ish way. I loved it.
It was like the perfect combination of like BioShock and the kind of more Doom gameplay, I guess, kind of more
Oh
Doom and
yeah,
Quake and stuff.
yeah, it was really good.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of that
Oh
game
yeah.
and that music as well. That's kind of leading to my next question, which is the more nerding part of this.
Oh
I
yeah.
was wondering what kind of stuff you use what kind of like synths or electric guitars, what
Oh
kinds of stuff
man.
you use more frequently.
Oh, where do you want me to start? And people can grab a coffee and come back tomorrow, I guess. Um, yeah. Well, I'm a guitarist by heart.
Hmm.
Well, or guitarist and drummer because those two instruments kind of followed up through my childhood and doing bands and stuff. So guitar-wise, I'm a huge 80s nerd for
Mm,
some reason. So, everything some guy with tight jeans and very long hair would play on
of
in the
course, of
80s.
course.
It's basically me. So I have a bunch of the older Ibanez Prestige stuff and an old BC Rich gunslinger from the 80s and
Ooh.
stuff like that. And then, of course, because of the modern way guitar music turns out to be in games, I have some 7 strings and 8 strings too, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, but and I was and still am a huge amp nerd. But I have to admit that all my amps have been brutally murdered by my quad cortex.
Oh no.
It's just the efficiency it gives me, and while it still keeps what I would say the closest to the original tone of an amp, it's a no-brainer not to use it, especially if you have deadlines lying around and stuff like that. Because I love as much as the next guy to mic up a cab and really nerd it out and turn the knobs, and but the reality just is that nobody has time for that. If so, I love to. I actually love to do the part of making the initial tone, and then basically I would say capture it and save it as a preset, and then I can tweak it from there. But more synth wise, my favorite right now is the Lyra 8 by what are they called? I can never remember. I can't remember who makes it. But I know it's the Lyra 8. Everybody knows it, basically.
Of course.
That's my go-to for everything weird, basically, because it can do so much within a realm where there's basically no tone. It's just a bunch of noise, but in an interesting way. And then also you can tune it so you can actually play melodies and stuff like that. So cool. That's really cool. And then I have well, right now I'm just gonna go over the main stuff, because if I go through all the stuff, we're never gonna get over this.
That's so funny.
And so then the Korg MS-20 is really nice. I use that for a lot of low end stuff, basically substance and stuff like that. And I would say my third main thing right now would be I use a lot of modular, not synths, but modular effects that I run my synths through. So stuff like the plasma drive from Erica Synths, or what they're called, and a company called, I'm going to butcher the name now, Slappy Engineering, I think. Slappy Engineering, that's what my brain says when I read it. They make a lot of really, really, really cool effects, especially for distortion and stuff like that. For me, that's like really cool.
Very, very cool. I personally, I don't have that many yet. The Lyra is one that is on the list because, as you said, everyone knows it. It's so good. I think me and Ross also talked about that whenever we did our podcast. He's out of my world with synths. He's a nerd.
He's
equally as nerdy about this synth stuff, and he was really cool. He's such a nice guy, and he's very good at what he does, and I think he's great.
Cool.
But I have just a little Behringer Crave semi-modular.
Good. Yeah, I know everybody has some opinions about Behringer and stuff, and that's all fine. But what they make now is actually really solid, and it sounds really good.
100%. I remember people were so weird about that for a while, and I think it's starting to get maybe a little better. But I think like what they're doing is what they're doing now is good, and I enjoy using this quite a bit. But my main synth that I like to use quite a bit, I recently got it. I've been wanting to buy it for a while, but it's the ASM Hydra synth.
Yes.
Man, it's crazy.
I've been eyeing that.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. When I was I graduated college in December, so I'm recently graduated. But when I was back in college, our studio professor, has his own personal collection at his house, and occasionally he'll bring synths over from that. And he had a Hydra synth, and it was over in the synth room, and it was there for literally 3 hours. I don't think he wanted it to stay in there for too long because he was worried students would mess with it, and I did mess with it, but that's okay because I think he likes me. But I messed with it, and that was like 2 years ago, and ever since then I've just been like, man, I need to buy myself that Hydra synth, and I recently did, and I enjoy it quite a bit. It's pretty fun. I'm doing something now
one of my projects. It's for a Helldivers like fan. It's like an anthology series that we're doing. It's like this anthology series, but I'm literally just using this and my electric guitar, and that's it. I'm not doing anything else, and it's been pretty fun. It's a fun challenge to do that. Do you typically, do you ever, depending on the project, think about, hey, I should use physical synths versus, hey, I should probably use more, like, is that something that you ever think about, or is it just kind of like whatever you think is going to work the best, you just go with that?
Always, basically, is the answer. Honestly, my whole thing is that I really like to make music out of, it's a bad way to say it, but I'll say the real stuff. It's great. Soft synths are great, and sample libraries are great, and all that. And it's just amazing we can have a huge orchestra in a tiny computer nowadays. But I love, tweaking synths or making an amp sound weird or sample a lot of stuff that's not supposed to be a musical instrument and then turn it into one. Especially also now, with everyone talking about AI and blah 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 blah. That can be the savior to people who are nervous about that. It's because that AI cannot create. AI cannot walk around and sample your whole house and time stretch it into weird stuff and make it original. So that's my whole thing. I love to do that. I actually did sample my old apartment, like basically everything in the apartment is sampled and in a contact library of my own, and it's just weird, and it was great, and it has earned me so much in both creativity, but also landed a lot of weird trailer placements and stuff like that. So I really feel I can quickly feel stuck with sample libraries, not in a way that I can't write, but in a way that I tend to always just grab the same stuff or go for the same chord progression and stuff like that when I'm just sitting at the computer. If I go away from the computer and begin tweaking and sampling stuff, then I'm forcing myself to come up with something new every time.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I've started to try and do that approach, like I said, with this new thing that I'm doing. And I think it's such a good approach, I think, because it's making me think a little differently. Like I've probably used only like two actual like I think I use like a Contact drum library for drum set, and then I think I made some kind of a rising tone in Vital, and that's like about But yeah,
but then again, the whole orchestra stuff and soft synth and stuff like that it's not because it's a bad thing, but because sometimes an orchestra is needed. It's the sound that people familiarize with different feelings and emotions and so on. But then you take it further and try to take it out of the box and see what happens if you actually put a big string section through a guitar, right? Stuff like that. That can be really cool, but I just try not to, for me at least, I try not to limit myself to gear or software that I have. I started my whole career with a Zoom hand recorder, and I would like to end my career with it too.
Nice. Have you experimented with having real string stuff recorded and running a bunch of like guitar like kind of pedals on it and distortion? Is that something that you've messed around with before?
Oh yeah. I'm working on something now that shall remain something. Where we're doing real recordings, and I basically just trash them afterwards.
Oh, nice.
It's a weird thing because you spend so much time, and eventually also a lot of money goes into recording these amazing players who can just shred their instruments, right? And then I ruined the whole performance afterwards. But it's a thing with where how can I say anything without saying stuff I shouldn't? Yeah, basically we go for a full normal emotional orchestra sound, which then after whatever happens in the game kind of morphs into this more twisted thing, basically. So it's basically the same recording that just gets weirder and weirder, basically.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I think I might know it. I think that I know it. If you're talking about a game, I think I know what game you're talking about. That's for.
I have no comments. Oh no, it's not anything I have announced.
Oh, okay.
This
Well,
is this is very much only in the people that discuss on Reddit forums that things might or might not exist. So,
okay, sweet. Okay. For a second, I was like, active matter?
No, actually, that's. I've been doing a lot of different stuff. There's everything from, like, more ambient post rock ish stuff to. I believe the last track I did was actually a very heavy 8-string track, but tuned even lower than an 8-string.
Oh, really?
So stuff like that.
That's
always
really
fun.
Cool. I could imagine post rock working really well for that.
Yeah, actually,
I think it looks really. That game looks really, really good. I'm
so fun. It's so fun. There is a kind of, well, it's not officially an early access. I guess it's basically a demo version of the game on Steam at the moment, and even that is just fun as hell. Yeah. It's such an interesting take on a genre that has existed for so long. Oh, yeah. It's really cool. I can't even explain how the game works because you really have to experience it.
Yeah, it's just that unique. It's just that unique of a game.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it has the potential to do something really cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely excited for it. I think that it looks great. I'm also very excited to hear all the music for it. That's gonna be fun too. Do you know? Is that gonna be one that's? Is that gonna be console? Do you have any idea? Have they said anything publicly?
To my knowledge, I don't know. I think that it would make sense if it was on console, and I hope it's going to be on console. But to my knowledge, I just don't know. Basically, I just do the music.
I'm just the music guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm definitely going to play it regardless of where it is. I typically play Xbox, and I've just always been Xbox. I've never owned PlayStation. I'm one of those weirdos.
Oh well, the Xbox people is the supreme race. Don't.
Hey.
Yeah.
I do want to eventually get a PlayStation for because I know I've not got to play God of War, stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
I would love
good
to
stuff.
play like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I had to borrow a PlayStation to play The Last of Us just to experience it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to follow that same route because there's so many, like Bloodborne. I love Dark Souls games. I'm a huge man.
But just with the amount of different kind of game studios that Microsoft owned at this point, there's just so many good games. But I play Xbox, but I'm playing mainly on a PC basically. But that's just because since 2004 I've had a serious addiction issue with World of Warcraft, and it's not going anywhere.
Nice. What games are you playing right now?
Besides World of Warcraft, can I play anything else than that right now? Well, mostly if I play games at this point that are not WoW, it's usually the games I'm working on. Like test versions and early builds and stuff like that. Recently, what was the most recent game I played? Hellblade, I think it was called. Does that make sense? Senua's Saga Hellblade.
Yeah. That's the second one, right?
Yeah, that was really good and so much cool music in it. It was just pure, good old Viking guttural vocals with heavy drums. Yeah, I like it.
I played the first one. I didn't get around to the second one yet.
I never played the first one, and I'm actually a bit mad about it because as I got further into the second one, it dawned on me that there's a pretty hefty story in this, and I missed the whole first part. But I just played it because it was on the what's it called,
Game
Xbox.
Pass?
Game Pass. So I just tried it out, but I was halfway through and figured, why stop now? And then I went straight back to WoW to get my fix.
Nice. Yeah, I'd recommend playing the first one. There's one section of the game specifically that just it was, I don't know, something about it was crazy. It blew me away. Wanted to ask another question because I know that you have a little bit of a limited time, so I wanted to ask this one. And this is one that I typically like to ask everyone, just to hear the kind of different opinions and and stuff. But I was wondering, do you have any advice for people wanting to get into music and composing, or if you have just any kind of advice for people in general that want to get into their field that they want to get into?
Oh man, that's the question where you can only make a wrong answer, basically. How am I going to answer this? Well, firstly, I can say that I'm sorry if there's some noise in the background, but I have a very vocal cat who likes to start speaking a lot as soon as everybody else is talking.
That's so
anyways, to your question, I would say, especially with everything in mind, technology and AI, not because I'm not an AI doom and gloomer. Actually, I think it's pretty awesome, but that's a whole other talk. But in the day and age where everybody and their grandma is a composer and everybody has the same tools, and I would say stay close to yourself and what you like to do. Typically, and there are some composers that are really good at doing a lot of different things, but typically it's not good to be the guy that can do it all. It's much cooler to be the guy that is an expert in fantasy music, for example, or if people just like if you think about, who do we need for this horror game? Everybody's thinking about Jason Graves. Right, and if we want this big, hefty, bombastic, mega orchestral sound, everybody instantly thinks about Hans Zimmer, and stuff like that. And I know Zimmer is just a huge name and so on, but having that thing that if people think about a certain genre, they just come to you instead of start searching the internet. And that's a damn hard place to get to, right? But everything that is worth doing is worth waiting for, I guess. So I would say specialize in something, and not just something, specialize in what you think is fun. Because if you really want this as a job, you're going to do it every day for a lot of hours. So if you don't like doing fantasy music and you end up doing a lot of fantasy music, you're going to wish you had a normal job suddenly. Music can very quickly become not fun. And I have tried that once, not from doing stuff I didn't like, but simply just having too much and burning out. And your one big passion not being fun is the worst feeling ever. Like actually making a living doing your dream job and not wanting to do it, that just sucks. So really, for example, if you really like doing heavy Mick Gordon stuff, do that and see how you can expand on it. How can you make this cooler, even though that's impossible because it's Mick Gordon, right?
Yeah.
And don't think too much about having to be original and stuff, because if you just do what you really like, you're gonna be yourself in an original way anyways.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their own flair of something. There's a gazillion orchestral composers for different films and games, but they all have their cool own little thing,
Yeah. Their own little unique sound.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe some composers just always have very interesting string lines, or some composers always lead with the horns or something like that. There's always this little thing that instantly makes you think, oh, that's Austin Wintory, right? Because of some little thing that he always does. So stuff like that, like really business wise, there's no real good answer to the question, because everybody could copy what I have done and it would not work, and I could copy everything that Ross that you had on, and it would not work. So everyone has to kind of dig their own path and go that way, because something leads to another, which turns you into this, and everything goes back and forth, and you create your own path forward, right? And that's the best I can do for that question, I guess.
That's good though. I think that's a good, the whole kind of going more into one specific thing, I think works really well. And like you said, like Mick Gordon, like typically, like whenever you think about, almost just think about electric guitar and music in general, I feel like most people are like, oh, the doom music.
Yeah, exactly. And also you can just even if you don't know Mick wrote a piece of music you're listening to, you can hear it's Mick. He has this very, very distinctive style of sound design in his music, and that's a damn hard place to get to, right? But that's initially your peak in the career should be where people close their eyes and listen to your stuff and think that must be Mick, or that must be Powell, of whoever you like listening to.
Of course. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, again, it was great talking to you.
Oh yeah, pleasure's mine.
At some point, we should totally do this again, when, like later down the line, maybe next year.
Oh hell yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, it was great talking to you, and I appreciate you coming on.